Have you ever wondered what happens when you open a door you can't close? The Ouija board, it's more than just a game. It's a ritual, a question, a dare. For some, it's a harmless curiosity, a party trick, but for others, it's the beginning of something they can never undo. It's sold in toy stores, marketed as a simple board game, but some say it's a direct line to something else, something not always friendly. The warnings are easy to ignore until you hear what really happens. We've all heard the stories, the warnings, the urban legends about people who played and were never the same. Some laugh them off, but others know the truth is far stranger than fiction. But what if those stories were true? What if the danger is real, lurking just beyond the edge of the candlelight? Tonight, we're diving into the abyss. We're stepping into the unknown, where every shadow could be something watching. Not just spooky tales. These are 10 cases of Ouija sessions gone horribly wrong, caught on camera, real people, real terror, and real consequences. From live streams to home security footage, what you're about to see is as real as it is terrifying. These aren't just stories, they're warnings. This isn't for the faint of heart. If you're brave enough to keep watching, remember, some doors, once opened, can never be closed again. We're exploring moments when the veil between worlds was ripped open, and something unspeakable slipped through. If you're easily scared, this is your last chance to turn back. What follows may haunt you long after the screen goes dark. For the brave, dim the lights and prepare to question everything you know about the other side. The devil's game is about to begin. Our first case takes us back to 2014, the heyday of YouTube ghost hunters, when live streams of paranormal investigations were exploding in popularity. Audiences tuned in by the thousands, hungry for real-time chills and unscripted encounters with the unknown. A group called Ethereal Explorers decided to live-stream a Ouija session from inside a notoriously haunted house, hoping to capture something extraordinary for their growing fan base. The session began innocently enough, with jokes and nervous laughter echoing through the candlelit room. The planchette slid across the board, spelling out a simple, "Hello," and the group exchanged uneasy glances. Mark, the group's confident lead, demanded proof, taunting whatever spirit might be present. He challenged the board, pushing boundaries in search of a reaction. The planchette spelled out "bad." Mark laughed it off, but the mood in the room shifted instantly. An icy chill seemed to settle over everyone. Without warning, Mark's body went rigid. His eyes rolled back and a guttural growl rumbled from deep within his chest, silencing the group. He suddenly lunged at the board, sweeping it violently off the table, then turned to stare directly into the camera with a chilling, malevolent glare. Mark began to speak in a distorted, unrecognizable voice, uttering phrases in a strange language that none of his friends could understand. The atmosphere grew thick with fear. Suddenly, the live stream glitched and cut out, leaving thousands of viewers in shock. The chat exploded with frantic messages as people tried to make sense of what they'd just witnessed. After that night, the channel went dark for months. No new uploads, no explanations, just silence. When the group finally returned, Mark confessed he had no memory of the event, only a splitting headache and a lingering sense of dread that haunted him for weeks. Shaken, the group swore off Ouija boards forever, vowing never to tempt fate again after what they'd experienced. The footage remains online as a chilling warning. Never demand proof from the other side because you might get more than you bargained for. 4 Ohio teens, a sleepover, and a Ouija board. What could go wrong? At first it was all jokes, until the board spelled out Zozo, a name infamous in Ouija lore. The girls didn't know the legend, but the mood turned dark as the board revealed their secrets. Emily, the quiet one, began whispering letters before the planchette moved, her eyes empty. She laughed, a sound that wasn't hers. When her friends tried to stop, Emily's grip was iron. Suddenly, she screamed and convulsed, speaking in a deep raspy voice, cursing her friends. The phone kept recording as parents rushed in. Emily was never the same, haunted by night terrors for years. The footage is a stark reminder, some names should never be spoken. Paranormal investigators are supposed to be the experts, but sometimes the shadows push back harder than anyone expects. Even the most seasoned ghost hunters can find themselves in over their heads when the unknown decides to make itself known. David, a veteran ghost hunter with years of experience, led a late-night Ouija session in an abandoned asylum infamous for its dark history. At first the room was silent, the only sound the creak of old floorboards and the distant drip of water. Then, after some taunting and nervous laughter, the planchette suddenly spelled out a chilling warning. "Get out!" David pressed on, determined to get answers, but the atmosphere in the room turned thick and hostile, as if something unseen was watching. Suddenly, David's face went slack, his eyes losing focus as if he was no longer himself. He stared at the wall, then slowly turned to the camera, a cruel, unfamiliar smile spreading across his face. "I see you," he whispered, his voice twisted and unrecognizable, sending chills through everyone present. He began revealing personal details about the crew, deep secrets and memories he couldn't possibly know, leaving everyone in stunned silence. The terrifying possession lasted 2 full minutes before David suddenly collapsed, gasping for air as if he'd been underwater. When he finally came to, he remembered nothing, just a lingering sense of violation and dread that wouldn't go away. The footage left his team shaken to their core, questioning what they had really encountered that night. Even the pros aren't safe when they provoke what lies beyond the veil. Some doors, once opened, can never be closed. Sometimes the board answers back with more than just words. It answers with a presence. And sometimes it takes more than you bargained for, leaving scars that last long after the night is over. The asylum session was their last. No one on the team ever returned. In 2021, the Ouija challenge swept TikTok. Film yourself using a Ouija board alone. Spooky Sarah, known for dance videos, tried it live. At first, nothing. Then the planchette spelled "I am." She asked for a name, Lilith. The planchette began answering before she finished her questions. Suddenly, Sarah's body went rigid, her expression turning cold and predatory. She stared into the camera, smiling eerily, silent. The video ended abruptly, leaving millions horrified. Sarah vanished from TikTok, never posting again. One haunting video, and a million unanswered questions. Thanksgiving, 2018, the Miller family a Ouija board and a camcorder. After dinner, most treated it as a joke, until only Carol, Gary, and Tom remained. They contacted a spirit claiming to be a long-dead boy. Carol, moved, asked if he was at peace. Suddenly, her eyes went cold. She folded her hands and began speaking fluent Aramaic, a language she'd never studied. Gary and Tom were stunned. After a minute, Carol blinked, confused, with no memory of what happened. The family packed up the board for good. The footage of Carol's glossolalia remains a chilling family secret. Sometimes the board doesn't just answer, it speaks through you, and you may never know what you've let in. In 2019, Frank reviewed his home security footage after strange events. At 3 to 15 a.m., his son Kevin, sleepwalking, entered the basement, found an old Ouija board, and began a silent session. The planchette moved on its own as Kevin sat, eyes closed. After 20 minutes, Kevin's body contorted, mouth open in a silent scream. He collapsed, then lay unconscious for an hour before returning to bed. Kevin had no memory of the night. The family moved out a month later, leaving the board behind. The footage is a silent, terrifying record of a night they'll never forget. Sometimes, the board finds you, even in your sleep, and what answers may never let go. Urban explorers. DK dudes filmed a Ouija session in St. Jude's Asylum morgue. The planchette spelled threats focusing on Josh. It spelled his name, then die. Josh tried to pull away, but couldn't. Suddenly, he went silent, his fear replaced by cold hatred. "You wanted a show!" he sneered, voice distorted. He stalked Mike through the morgue, overturning tables, laughing maniacally. Mike fled, capturing the chaos on camera. Josh later had no memory, just a lingering anger. The footage is a warning. Some places, and some spirits, should be left alone. The asylum's darkness followed them home, and the board's message was clear. Not everyone leaves unchanged. Sometimes, the show never ends. College dorms and Ouija boards, a recipe for disaster. 4 friends filmed their session for laughs until Ben taunted the spirit. The planchette stopped. The room went cold. Ben's face went blank, then he lunged at Kyle, choking him in a violent outburst. The others screamed, trying to pull him off. After 30 seconds, Ben collapsed, unconscious. He awoke with no memory, horrified by what he'd done. The webcam footage captured everything. One night, one dare, and a friendship forever changed. The board doesn't care if you believe, it only cares if you play. Halloween 2022. Outdoor Itzy Halloween 20. A party, a Ouija board, and a skeptic named Alex. He joked with the board, but the planchette shot to goodbye. Alex's demeanor changed, his eyes empty, his face pale. He hissed, then stood, moving with predatory grace. "This body is mine now," he said, voice not his own. Chaos erupted as guests fled. The possession lasted nearly an hour before Alex collapsed. He remembered nothing. The party was never the same. Sometimes the mask you wear on Halloween isn't the scariest thing in the room. In 2012, a British crew filmed a Ouija session for a documentary in a haunted prison. Medium Evelyn led the session with a skeptic and a believer. The planchette spelled the name of a cruel warden. The skeptic mocked the process, tension rising. Suddenly, Evelyn's eyes changed, her voice cold, sneering. She revealed the skeptic's darkest secrets, things no one else knew. The crew was frozen as Evelyn, possessed, dismantled him with words. She laughed cruelly, then slumped, returning to herself with no memory. The footage was so disturbing, the documentary was never released, but the leaked clip stands as a warning. Sometimes the board answers with more than words. It knows you, and it never forgets. The veil is thinner than you think. 10 terrifying moments, proof that Ouija boards are more than a game. Whether you believe in the supernatural or not, these recordings are deeply unsettling. They remind us, curiosity can open doors we can't close. Next time you see a Ouija board, think twice. Some doors are best left locked. Have your own story? Share it in the comments. Subscribe for more journeys into the unknown. Until next time, stay safe and never play alone in the dark.